is no one talking about the Vatican? Everyone's talking about the Epi files and releasing the Epi files. We need to release the Vatican secrets, okay? Because learning that the Vatican is one of the deepest and darkest places on this earth, and learning about the secrets that they hold and how many things that they have changed throughout time. Listen, y'all, the Vatican is thousands of years old. The knowledge that they have in those 53 miles of book, I think it's what, 35,000 volumes, and learning that the Vatican are actually the ones responsible for taking those books out of the Bible, like the book of Enoch and the book of Maccabees and the book of Giants. And speaking of the Giants, did y'all know that there was a Pharisee named Josephus that lived like way in the AD time, and he would speak about Nephilim corpses on display? Like back then, it was common knowledge that giants existed. It's only now that it's been put in the media that it's just a myth. Apparently there's proof of that down there too. It's literally built on a graveyard of pagans that were brutally unalive. There's a monument, that long tall one, I forgot what it's called. It was stolen from Egypt by a Roman tyrant, and that same monument was what they used to unalive thousands of Christians by impaling them on that thing. Everything about the Vatican is so dark. And can we talk about the huge giant doors? What would those have been used for if giants didn't exist? And why take out the book of giants, the book of Enoch, the book of Jasher, all of these manuscripts and ancient texts that tell us that there is so much more to this spiritual warfare? Why do they still have the head of Saint Sienna? Why do they have the bones of over 30 popes? Why do they have their own police system, a separate police system just for the Vatican? That isn't sus to y'all. I don't know what would be sus to y'all, because why do you need a whole separate police department? What are y'all trying to cover up? Some people say that it's not just books in those archives, but evidence of other creatures that live on the earth. It's even said that they have proof that the Nephilim and the fallen angels were the ones that are responsible for the pyramids in Egypt. I mean, I feel like we already knew that, especially because giants are all over Egyptian hieroglyphics, and the pyramids itself are like pure magic. It's got to be divine knowledge, the way that they are directly aligned with the Orion star system, how time travels 3 times as fast in there. There are literally voids where no one can get into. And each cinder block that is over a ton, how humans would be able to pick that up, I don't know, unless maybe they were giants, are placed so perfectly by the millimeter that if it were to be off even a little bit, it would all come crumbling down. And the fact that there are pyramids literally all over, and there are those same type of hieroglyphics and pyramids in the Grand Canyon, and allegedly all of these things were covered up by the Smithsonian Museum. I can't say that without getting banned. And they have ties to the Vatican as well. It all goes back to them. This is so interesting, guys. You guys wanted me to dive into this for the longest, so let's get into it. I'm thinking we start a Vatican series. What do you think? Don't forget to like and follow. We'll do not talk about the Vatican enough. Like when I tell you there's so much lore, like that place is so sinister for so many reasons. I was gonna start the series tomorrow, but y'all are really into it, so let's start now. So you guys know about that long pointy monument, St. Peter's obelisk, right? It was actually stolen from Egypt by Emperor Caligula, and he used it to impale and murder thousands and thousands of Christians. Like they would just get them all together, gather them, and brutally unalive them in that way. Don't mind my blinds, my daughter did that. And knowing that information now, I find it only fitting for us to talk about all the other gruesome, horrible things that Caligula did. Well, Caligula ruled for only 4 years, but historians said it's one of the darkest rulings in Roman history. He would literally force senators to run on the sides of his chariot until they like collapsed from exhaustion. Some of them didn't even make it. Whenever someone would displease him, he would literally torture them slowly and painfully, so that, and I quote, they could feel themselves dying. He literally fed prisoners to wild beasts, alive, might I add, just to watch them suffer and be torn apart and maimed. Then there were the sexual crimes. Literally R-worded his own sisters and then paraded them around as goddesses until, they displeased him and off with their head. It wasn't just his sisters, that was any woman that he could get his hands on. If they didn't do exactly what he wanted in the bedroom, or they made one wrong turn between the sheets, their heads would roll. He would also host large banquets and make sure all the noblemen came with their wives. He would go through the dining hall picking whose wife he wanted to take. He would take their wives, go up to the room and R-word them, bring them back down, and give critiques to the women and the noblemen and tell them to work on it so that next time he wants them, it's better. Otherwise, you know what happened. Only that, he didn't believe he was just an emperor. He wanted to be revered as a living god. Often spoke to statues, he yelled at Neptune. He even said that he was going to put statues of himself in the Jewish temple, and that in and of itself almost created an entire rebellion. But in the end, Caligula learned that if you're evil, and even if you rule by fear, you can still be betrayed, because the guards and all the people, they got fed up with him. So the very guards that were supposed to protect him gathered together in secret and plotted to unalive him, and that's what they did. He actually was jabbed 30 times and left alone in the hallway to bleed out alone. That is the start of our Vatican series, y'all. That is just a small, minute amount compared to what we're gonna dig into with the secret Vatican archive. So stick around and don't forget to like and follow.